What is up, Revivalists? How's it going? Hope you're all well. Sorry I've not posted for a couple of weeks, but I've been busy moving stuff around, busy in my personal life, work, etc, etc. So I'm in a slightly different location now, as you'll see. So still haven't got quite enough racks for all of my CDs. I've got like stuff over here and over there, and yeah, anyway, so I need to get more stuff in. But back today with a new ranking. You remember in the last video I did N, so we're on to O now. Not too many things to do on O, but I'm going to start off today with the ranking of the band Oasis. So British band, mainly active in the sort of the 90s really, 90s up to sort of 2008 I think was their last album. So yeah, at the time they were massive, certainly during their first sort of 3 albums, really huge band, done a lot of good stuff. I'd say they'd probably done 2 like amazing albums. The rest of the albums I think were, you know, all had some good stuff on them, but they're a little bit hit and miss sort of throughout. But I'll go through my collection. I've got all their albums and the majority of their singles up to a certain point, which a lot of them featured B-sides which weren't on the albums. A lot of them are well worth having as well. So yeah, obviously the Noel Gallagher and Liam Gallagher, the 2 brothers, were the main guys in Oasis. They've both gone on to do like BDI, Liam Gallagher's solo career as well, and Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds, neither of which really have had the same sort of impact as Oasis originally did. There's rumours of them maybe reforming, even more so in the news recently, so we'll see if that happens. But to be honest with you, maybe it might be best to leave things well alone. We don't know, so we'll see what happens with that. But anyway, we'll go on with the ranking. So yeah, 7 studio albums in total. They've done a few compilations as well, but the main studio albums. So I'm going to go with number 7. My least favourite, by quite a long way actually, is their 2000 4th album, Standing on the Shoulder of Giants. This one, I remember when this one came out, was quite excited for it. I was very much into the band at the time, and very, very disappointed with it. It sort of starts off well, to be honest with you. First track, Fucking in the Bushes, really good. It's an instrumental track, but really, really cool. It's featured on the Snatch film soundtrack as well. It's a pretty iconic scene associated with that. Go Let It Out, I think, was the first single. That's not a bad song. It's okay. So were Oasis by numbers, but it's still pretty decent. And then you've got Who Feels Love, and that's a good track, to be honest with you. Very Beatlesy, sort of Indian influence, but still a really, really cool track. And then the rest of it's not very good. Put Your Money Where Your Mouth Is, not particularly great. Little James is a bit of a twee sort of song. Gas Panic's probably the next best one from all of it. Sunday Morning Call's alright, but yeah, very disappointing. It's a bit by numbers at this point. I think they'd sort of, you know, burnt themselves out for the first time. They're, you know, it's obviously well documented rows between the brothers, etc. But yeah, this one was disappointing. It's easily my least favourite album from 2000, their 4th album in total, and that's Standing on the Shoulder of Giants. Let me know what you think of this one. For me, it's a bit of a miss. So a few good tracks on there, but nothing special. My number 6 is Heathen Chemistry, and that is their 5th album from 2002. So this one came out after Standing on the Shoulder of Giants. 2 years later, seemed a little bit of a return to form, but still not particularly fantastic. The singles, Hindu Times is a good one. Stop Crying Your Heart Out's a little bit sort of, once again, Oasis by numbers. It's not fantastic. It's that sort of ballady. You've probably heard it, I would imagine. Songbird, first track written by Liam to feature on an Oasis album. It's not amazing. It's okay. Born on a Different Cloud. It's another sort of very Oasis by numbers. She Is Love. That's not a bad little track actually. Little by Little. That's actually quite good as well. Noel sings that one. But yeah, it's not an awful album. Say there's a few decent tracks on there, but definitely at the bottom, you know, bottom end of their catalogue for me. Heathen Chemistry from 2002, their 5th album. Now we have These next two, I was quite torn between the two of them, of which one I preferred the most. And I'm still not sure, but I think I'm going to put this one at number 5. And this is their final album, the 7th album from 2008, Dig Out Your Soul. A decent album. The first half of it really is quite good. Yeah, Bag It Up's a good track. The Turning I really, really like. I think that's a great track. Waiting for the Rapture's not bad. No Things, that one. Shock of the Lightning, that was the first single. And that's really good as well. So, first 4 tracks are all pretty banging. I'm Out of Time. Yeah, once again by numbers. You've got things like The Nature of Reality, which is, and Ain't Got Nothing, and they're both kind of there's a lot of sort of psychedelic influence on this one. Throughout their career, they have done the Beatles song Tomorrow Never Knows probably about 6 or 7 times in various forms throughout their, discography. And Ain't Got Nothing and Nature of Reality are both kind of, certainly The Nature of Reality's got the bass line from it, and Ain't Got Nothing's definitely got the drum track from it. So Get Off Your High Horse Lady's another Noel track. But yeah, it does fall off in the second half of the album. So the first half is very, very strong. So if it had all been as strong as the first half, then it would have been a winner. But as I say, it's a bit patchy. It's a decent enough album. It's way better than the 2 I've previously mentioned. So Dig Out Yourself, final album from 2008. My number 4 is Don't Believe the Truth from 2005. This is their 6th album. Slightly prefer this to Dig Out Your Soul. It's a little bit more, as I say, they are, kind of even, to be fair. Turn Up the Sun's not a bad track, pretty decent. Mucky Fingers, it's a bit more stripped down, this one. Lila is a good track. The Importance of Being Idle, Noel Sings, that one, that's a really good one. Very Kinks influenced. Mean the Soul, like very quick sort of, basic sort of rock and roll track. Part of the Queue, I think that's another Tomorrow Never Knows song. Bell Will Ring, oh, that's definitely a Tomorrow Never Knows song. And Let There Be Love at the end, which is Noel and Liam both sort of duet on that one, and that's quite nice, very Beatles Let It Be era influenced. Really does sound a lot like that. Say if you like the Beatles, then you'll like a lot of Oasis, and vice versa. Really, they really do dig deep into the Beatles sort of songbook a lot of the time. But anyway, Don't Believe the Truth. It is a decent album. It's quite consistent all the way through, consistently good, and say it's a bit more stripped back than certainly some of their albums, and yeah, it's quite decent. So that's my number 4 from 2005. Their 6th album in total. Top 3, all bangers really. The number 3, Be Here Now, from 1997. This is their 3rd album. I remember the hype for this when this came out being absolutely massive. And it is a good album, to be honest with you. A lot of people slag it off and say that it's overly long. A lot of the songs are overly long. There is no two ways about it. Do you know what I mean? First track, that's quite long, but that's really, really good. It doesn't drag. My Big Mouth, good up-tempo rocker, really good track. Magic Pie, Noel Sings, that one, that's quite cool, quite Beatlesy. Stand By Me, it is a good track. That does go on too long, but I say it is a good track. It's, if you live in England, you'll have heard it on adverts for a certain bank, I think, and so that kind of ruins it a little bit. But yeah, still a good track. But yeah, that one is definitely too long. I Hope I Think I Know, that's not bad. Girl in the Dirty Shirt, that's a good track. Fading Out, that's a good track as well. Don't Go Away, another one that goes on too long, is decent enough. Be Here Now, the title track, that I really like that one. That's a good punchy song. All Around the World, way too long. Way too long. What have we got? It's Getting Better Man, that's a cool track as well. And then All Around the World Reprise, because why not? Because it wasn't quite long enough in the first place. So yeah, it's overblown. You can see from the cover there, they're living large. They've made a lot of money at this key point. and say a lot of hype for this album. Did it live up to the hype? Maybe not, but it's still a strong album and comfortably number 3 behind what I would consider to be the Magic 2, the first 2 albums. And that's Be Here Now from 1997. So the question is, which one have I got at number 1 and which one have I got at number 2? Ooh. Both excellent album, both masterpieces. It just comes down to personal preference and which one I prefer to revisit. And so at number 2 I have got What's the Story, Morning Glory from 1995, their second album. I say a classic album, really good. No bad tracks on here. Only tracks that I think have been slightly overplayed, like for example Wonderwall, like Don't Look Back in Anger. If you've never heard those songs, you might have this at number 1. If you just go through the Oasis discography and listen to them all, you might think, oh, do you know what? And you wouldn't be wrong in a way. But yeah, those 2 tracks in particular have been, I don't necessarily ever need to hear either of those again. Hello, I really enjoy that as an opener. Roll With It is a cool track. Hey Now is a great track. Some might say that's overplayed, but I think that's still a really cool one. Cast No Shadows, good. She's Electric's a really cool track as well. I really do like that one. Morning Glory, and then Champagne Supernova to finish with, which is a marvellous track as well. Yeah, a classic album, a legendary album from 1995. No one can argue if you've got this as your number 1. Say for me, there's just a couple of tracks that have been overplayed for me, and I don't need to listen to them ever again, really. But yeah, masterpiece of an album. What's the Story, Morning Glory from 1995, second album. So leaves number 1, first album, which is always a shame when your first album's your best. But yeah, definitely Maybe from 1994. Absolute all killer, no filler. Really good album, really good, hard rocking, good attitude, rock and roll star, fantastic opener, really. Shaker Maker, Live Forever, Up in the Sky. You've got Columbia, which is amazing, probably one of the best tracks on here. Supersonic, Bring It On Down, Cigarettes and Alcohol, Digsy's Dinner. Really like that one as well. Slide Away, Married with Children. Every track is superb. Every track's just a sing-along masterpiece. And as far as debut album goes, this has got to be up there with things like the Arctic Monkeys and I don't know, yeah, other really good debut albums. But yeah, this one is yeah, you can't knock it. It's an absolute killer album. And so yeah, it'll always be my number 1 Oasis album, and probably one of my favourite albums of all time. I think it is that good. It's yeah, excellent. So if you've not heard it, definitely check it out. First 2 albums are must listens. Be Here Now as well, I think is probably a must listen. Everything else you could probably make do with the singles from them. Get one of the compilations with all the singles on if you're new to the band and you want to get into them. But the first 2, definitely, all the deep cuts are brilliant as well. So I mentioned the singles, which I've got, say, a fair few of them. So we'll go through those quickly. This one's Shaker Maker from Definitely Maybe. Really cool track off of there. This one's got Do You Want to Be a Spaceman and Alive and Bring It On Down live on there. Not the best B-sides on that one, but still pretty cool. We have got, this one is Live Forever from the first album as well. And this one's got Up in the Sky acoustic on there, Cloudburst as well, and a live version of Supersonic. Cigarettes and Alcohol, classic track from the first album. This one has got a cover of I Am the Walrus on it, and it's got Listen Up and Fade Away, which are 2 really cool tracks. Listen Up especially. This one is Supersonic. And this one has got Take Me Away, I Will Believe live, and a demo of Columbia. So that one's pretty cool. Then we've got Whatever, which was not on not on any of their albums basically. So if you want this, you'll have to either get the single or get one of the compilations. I think it's on the sort of Stop the Clocks or one of their compilations anyway. This one's got It's Good to Be Free on the B-side, Half the World Away, which was the theme tune for the Royal Family as well, and Slide Away, which is on the first album. But yeah, Whatever is a really, really cool track, quite Beatlesy, quite orchestral as well with it. They've thrown the kitchen sink at that, but really cool track. Then we've got Wonderwall, the single. This one's got good beats. This has got Round Our Way on it, which is a really, really cool track. It's got Swamp Song, and also it's got the Master Plan, which is another. So yeah, it's all round good, this one. B-sides on this are absolutely spot on. Roll With It, which has got It's Better People, Rocking Chair, which is a cool track, and a live version of Live Forever at Glastonbury. We have got Don't Look Back in Anger, Step Out, Underneath the Sky, and cover of the Slade song Come On Feel the Noise. This one is Some Might Say, really cool track as well. I do like the covers on a lot of their singles as well. Talk Tonight, Acquiesce, which is a really cool track, and Head Shrinker, that's another really good one. This is the Do You Know What I Mean single. This one's got like a digipack on it. Do you know what I mean? This one, Stay Young, really, really cool track on there. Yeah, really, really good B-side, Stay Young. Angel Child, and cover of the Bowie song Heroes. Then we've got Stand By Me. And that one's got I Got the Fever, My Sister Lover, and Going Nowhere. All Around the World. It's got the Fame on it, Flashbacks as well, and Street Fighting Man, cover of the Stones song. They're all good. Go Let It Out, first single from Shoulder of Giants. And that's backed by Let's All Make Believe and As Long As They've Got Cigarettes in the Hell. They're both pretty cool. And then I've got the DVD single, as it was, of the Hindu Times. That's the last single I ever got, because I'd kind of got annoyed with them by then. This contains the Hindu Times demo, and it's got a video documentary on it as well. So yeah, that is that for the singles. And lastly, I've got the Master Plan, which is an album they brought out, which is a collection of the best of the B-sides. And say, if you haven't got any of the singles, this is well worth getting, because this has got a lot of the best B-sides on it. Things like Acquiesce, Fade Away, Swamp Song, Listen Up, it's got on there, Half the World Away, Stay Young, and the Master Plan. Obviously, Head Shrinker. There's a few missing though that should be on here, like Round Our Way, for example, and Stay Young. But you know, I guess they didn't want to make a double album, but still worth having. I wouldn't say it's the best of the B-sides, but there are some B-sides on there, and a lot of them are worth having. So yeah, well worth having. So we'll see if they reunite, and it'll be interesting to see if they do what they come up with. I say I've not got much of their solo stuff since they've split up. I've got like one BDI album. I've heard a few Liam Gallagher. I think I generally prefer his stuff to Noel's, you know, efforts, but you know, we shall see. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'm glad you've picked up this video and watched it, obviously after me being away for a couple of weeks. So I've got a lot of good stuff coming up. It's a lot easier for me to make videos now. I can access all my stuff a lot quicker and easier. So I've got like the rest of the O's to do, and my Ozzy Osbourne ranking, which I will start work on, and that will be up certainly next week. Whether it's early next week or later next week, we shall see. Probably late this time next week, I would imagine. But yeah, so we'll be getting back to the metal with Ozzy, the Prince of Darkness, and I look forward to that. Massive fan of his. I've been ever since, you know, I first got into sort of rock and metal. So look forward to that one, and I'll be going through his entire discography. Let me know what you think. So yeah, if you stuck around this long, appreciate that. press like if you like the video, and if you've not already done so, subscribe for more cool content coming up in the future. There'll be more now than ever. So look forward to seeing you again. Some exciting stuff coming up. You take it steady. Cheers.